All righty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share our presentation so that we can get you guys going. I'm going to, before I share it, I'm going to get it to the beginning. And then Jenny's going to do some introductions for us. So, is that sharing the presentation?
It is, yes.
Yes, we can see your desktop.
You can see my desktop. I want you to see the presentation.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so Jenny and I are with Cricut, and we are so excited to have everybody in the class. We're so excited to do this. I'm going to let Jenny do our intros, and then we have a little video to watch. The video might break up a little bit, so we'll see how it does. If it breaks up too much, we'll just can it and carry on. So I'm Joy, and Jenny, take it away.
I'm Jenny. Hey, you guys. Again, I'll be redundant and say we're super excited you're here. We're very excited to be here. We are often working behind the scenes as a giant team here at Michaels and Cricut, really working to keep you creative and crafting and spreading joy, especially during this new norm that we're all kind of navigating carefully and safely, I hope. And I hope you guys are doing great at home and staying safe and enjoying some time that you might have available to you that you wouldn't normally have. This community classroom is something that Michaels has started, and we're gonna do one every week, as Joy said, for the next 4 weeks. So you've got some exciting information headed your way. We have never done this before, like we said, and there might be some technical difficulties, there might be some snafus, but just bear with us. And we want to make this very conversational. This is about all of us engaging together and kind of being alone together and socially distanced together, but making sure that we're not harboring our creativity and our outlet where we spread joy and all the wonderful things that crafting can do for us. So I'm Jenny. I'm the Director of Sales at Cricut, and I work with Joy.
Very well said, Jenny. And I'm Joy, and I work with Jenny, and I am the Senior Channel Marketing Manager. So I help to do the marketing things from Cricut to Michaels. And classes are one of those things, and we are super excited to have this one. So let me figure out how to make our next slide happen. Here's our little video that's going to introduce you to what a Cricut machine can do and why you might like to have one in your life.
The Cricut Explore Air 2 has a million uses, but only one job: make life beautiful. Introducing the Cricut Explore Air 2. Now available in an array of beautiful new colors. It can cut over 100 materials, everything from cardstock, vinyl, and iron-on, to specialty materials like glitter paper and leather. Quickly, perfectly, beautifully. Choose from our ready-made designs, then personalize them or create your own in minutes. You can do it from anywhere, your desktop, tablet, or mobile device. It's never been easier or faster to design and create professional-looking projects every time, even on the go. The Cricut Explore Air 2 is more than just a smart cutting machine. It's your DIY solution. Just click, cut, and done. You'll also experience the joy of giving when you share stunning handmade gifts with your friends and family. With Cricut, you can make life inspiring. You can make life beautiful. Cricut Explore Air 2. Make every minute count.
My favorite part of that whole video, I think, is, whoops, we don't want to start it again.
The Cricut Explore.
My favorite part of that whole video is probably the fact that all those pictures come together to form the logo. And really that's what Cricut's about. You can make so many things with the machine that we have, the software we offer, and a device that you have, whether that's a computer, an iPad, or a phone. So I'm going to let Jenny tell you a little bit about the 3 different machines that we have at Cricut.
So most of you may have already heard that we launched the new Cricut Joy this year, which is our smallest, most portable, and cuts unique smart materials machine. It's for very quick, everyday fun projects. You can cut approximately up to 50, maybe even some more materials. And then we actually have the Air 2, which has been around for a while, and all the beautiful colors, and we're running an amazing manufacturer promo that will be on the Air 2. So the best prices on the Air 2 are happening right now. So if you have family, friends that are looking for an Air 2, Michaels and Michaels.com, you can pick up curbside close to the stores that might be open near you. Just check to see if you have a store that's open and providing that service. But you have a great selection, lots of colors of Air 2. This machine is for a very wide range of hobbies and cuts a little over 100 materials. And then we also have the Cricut Maker, which is the top of our platform. This is a workhorse. It can help you with very professionally cut types of materials that are thicker and more heavy duty. If you cut fabric, the Maker is definitely the machine for you. It can cut 300 plus materials. It's just a little stronger. It also works on a rotary blade. It's unlike our Air 2 that works on an XY axis. So that basically means that your cutting tool on your Air 2 actually goes up and down and side to side. On your Cricut Maker, your cutting tool actually can work on a rotation. It's not restricted to an XY axis. So all 3 of these machines are wonderful, and depending on what you're looking to do, what you're looking to make, what you're looking to craft, I think we have a great solution for you.
Hi, Jenny. Catherine here from Michaels. We have a quick question on the chat. Could you explain a little bit about the difference between the Cricut Explore Air, the original, versus the Air 2?
Yeah, Joy, do you want to answer?
The difference between, it's really the amount of time it takes to cut. So from the Explore Air 1 to the 2, it's cutting 2 times faster than the 1. So if you have the Explore Air 1 at home, it's still a great machine. When the Air Explorer 2 came out, it cuts fast. I hope that helps answer that question. So the 3 C's of Cricut. The 3 C's, if you just think these 3 things, then you know you will be on your way to cutting. Choosing a design, actually cutting, and creating. That gives you desktop publishing. And our CEO talks about the ability to bring that into everybody's home. And that means that you have a cutting machine that connects with very smart, special software so that you can cut things and make beautiful things in your home. So we're going to talk about how you use your device, how you use your machine, and then how you connect with the software to get the designs that you want. Because when I first saw the Cricut machine, I was like, that's great. That looks really cool. It can cut some things, but do I have to design those things? And do I have to come up with all the ideas? And the answer is no. Design Space will do that for you in a very nice way so that you can make all kinds of beautiful designs all on your own. And these are just a couple of our favorite things, from home decor to items that you just love to have in your hands every day, to decorating seasonally, outside, inside, everywhere. And these are just a few examples that we thought were fun ones to show you to get started with. But today we're going to talk about the Explore Air 2. 1, because it's on sale and it's a really good price, but 2, because it's kind of our middle machine. It's going to do the most things you'll see how Joy does things on a smaller scale, and the Cricut Maker has extra tools and varieties and materials it can work with. Depending on where you are in your crafting, the Explore Air 2 fits that a great spot for somebody who just wants to get started. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And Design Space is the other piece that we're going to mention. Design Space is an application that you go out onto the internet and you get it. You can go to www.cricut.com/setup, and it will take you right to Design Space. You just download it. It doesn't matter if you have a PC or a Mac. It'll give you the right download for each one of those machines. And then within Design Space, that's where you'll find all of your designs. So today we're going to cut out a design from vinyl. We're going to work specifically with vinyl, even though there are lots and lots and lots of other and materials that we have. If you go into Michael's, you'll see tons on the aisles. We're going to work with vinyl because it's one of the most cut items that we have, and it's one of the most versatile items that we have.
Hey, Joy, I just want to back up for one quick second.
Yeah.
One question I had, a bunch of my friends asked me when they first were looking at, buying into a Cricut machine. It can seem a little overwhelming at first. If you've never played with one, touched with one, it can seem a little bit intimidating. And then you have Design Space on top of it where you do all your, your creativity, where you do your designs and everything that you're going to cut, write, score. Do you have to, and I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you, do you have to have a machine to go and play on Design Space?
Nope. If you haven't bought your machine yet and you're just thinking about it and you're really wondering, Joy, are you telling me the truth? Can I really find all those great designs? You can hop right into Design Space. You can see everything. And it works two ways. Design Space has a lot of free images available within it. So you don't have to buy anything in order to look at Design Space. There are subscriptions available, and depending on what type of subscription you would like to have, that gives you access to more and more different designs. We always have timely designs that we make free every week. So there's always something in here, always something new for everybody, no matter if you've purchased a subscription or if you're just working without that subscription. So good question, Denny. Lots of things in here. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the materials that we're going to use. And today we are going to be working with vinyl. And like I said before, if you walk down the aisle, the Cricut aisle at the store at Michael's, see tons of choices. And there's just pretty much two things that you need to keep in mind as you're choosing your vinyl. The first thing is, do I want what I'm making to stick permanently onto the surface that I'm going to do, so that it doesn't come up later? So if I want to put something on my car window and I want it to really stay, I'm going to choose a permanent vinyl. But if I want to do something that's seasonal, let's say I want to decorate a watering can or decorate a board that I have each season that I keep out in my front yard to welcome people into my home, then I'm going to want to use a removable vinyl. So those are your first two big things. Do you want permanent? Do you want removable? And then you can get into all kinds of different types of vinyl, some with holographic things on them, some with sparkles, and all kinds of different looks to them.
Joy, Haley had a great question. She said, if you want to create your own designs, can you do that in Design Space?
Oh, absolutely. You can create your own designs, and you can also upload designs from other places into Design Space. So, and let's say your high school has a logo, and you want to put that logo onto something through vinyl or iron-on. You can take the JPEG, the image of that logo, upload that into Design Space, and it will help you convert it into what's called an SVG file, which is it's a vector art file that lets you do your cutting. So it's a very easy process. That's one probably for down the road as we get more advanced to just do a whole design space class. But our YouTube video has we have lots and lots of YouTube videos on how to do fancy things in design space. So lots of options for what you can do.
Also, we have just, if you look inside, if you've already purchased a Cricut machine and you have any questions, we actually have a 5-star concierge customer care team that is extremely happy to talk to you. If you have any questions, they're happy to walk you through the process from setup to doing a customized project that you might be struggling with. So don't hesitate to give us a call. We love talking to you, and we definitely want to hear your questions and understand where your pain points are. And also, you know, that helps us get better. When we know where something might be challenging that we didn't realize was going to be a challenge, we're always trying to better ourselves and make it better and easier for you to be doing what you want to do with either the software or the machine itself. So don't hesitate to pick up the phone and dial that number and talk to us and ask us your own questions.
And if you go to our website, at the very bottom, you have all the ways you can reach out to us so that we can help you. All right, so this is premium vinyl, and you can see it comes in a ton of different colors. You really have an array of colors to choose from. And each roll, when you purchase this, it comes in a roll, and it's a 12-inch by 48-inch piece of vinyl that you're getting. And when you apply it and it's on, it lasts for about 3 years. And our vinyl lies flat. I'm going to pull a piece out. It lies flat, and it doesn't have any like ripples in it as you're opening it up, which some people call tunneling, but there's no ripples in it. It's easy to weed and effortless to apply. On the back side, we also indicate what type of vinyl this is. Is it a permanent? Is it a removable? So that if you're like me and you end up with a whole basket full of choices, when I go through here, I can mix up my removable and my permanent. And since it's marked on the inside, I know the difference between the different types of vinyl I have.
Hey, Joy, we just got a great question from Diane. She says, what is weed? We are not talking about an illegal substance here. We are talking about the act of releasing the cut from the mat in the vinyl. So for example, if you cut out a heart shape to tell everyone that you love them and you miss them because you're far apart, when you peel the vinyl off of your mat, the heart that is inside, that is the piece that you would then weed. So yeah, Joy's showing a great example. So we call that weeding.
Yes. So when you're removing the parts of the design that you don't want, when you're separating the vinyl away, you're picking it out. It's like weeding your garden. You're just weeding away the things you don't want. So good question. Yeah, sometimes we add our terms, so feel free to ask questions on that because we tend to forget that we know too many things. All right, so then that's our permanent vinyl. Our removable vinyl, much like the permanent, it comes in that roll of 12 by 48 inches. It will apply, but it will also remove without a residue for about 2 years. So if, let's say you're renting, I rent my apartment and I want to put up something on my wall. I can put something up and take it down when I leave and it won't hurt the wall. It also lies flat so that you can get that accurate application when you put it up. And again, it's easy to weed and it's effortless to apply. So the next thing, and I know we're talking a lot about tools, we are going to show the machine in action, so hang in there with us. But these are a lot of just kind of basic things that you need to know about, or if you don't know about them, can be very helpful. And there's always some little tidbit of information that you get along the way that helps. You're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong all this time. So there are 4 different types of mats that you can find in the store. Some are 12 by 12 and some are 12 by 24 inches, so they're very long. And they have different types of adhesive texture to them. I have an old friend, we used to call it gription, when the kids put on those little socks with the bumps on the bottom and they could walk up things, we'd say they'd had good gription. So it's kind of a gription level difference in these mats. The light grip mat is the light blue one, and it's good for lightweight things like printer paper, thin cardstock. If you're working with vellum at all, or kids construction paper, that's a good one to choose. It's also a good one to choose for vinyl, but you'll see vinyl in a couple places. Then there's the standard grip mat. That's the green one. And that one is good for heavier cardstock, like your scrapbooking cardstock and pattern paper, embossed cardstock, iron-on, and vinyl here, especially if it's like a sparkly vinyl or a shimmer vinyl, or it's got some extra texture to the vinyl. This is a good one to choose. Then we have the purple one, which is a strong grip mat. This one is mostly used with your Cricut Maker when you're using thicker cardstock or thicker materials, or you're using like a magnetic material or a poster board, or you have fabric with a stiffener on the back or leather. That's when you would pick up this purple one. And then last but not least, and in my favorite color, is the pink one, and that is the fabric grip mat. So if you are using your maker and you are cutting out a pattern, you would want this particular mat. It has kind of a combination of strength and density that with a light, it's got like a little bit of a lighter adhesive to it. So it's perfect for felt, for cotton materials. If you're making those face masks right now, this is the one to use. And it works best with the rotary blade, the one that Jenny was explaining earlier with the maker. So.
Hey, Joy.
Yes.
We have a question. Do you have any tips for how to clean the mat when it's full of debris?
Yes, a couple of tips. First of all, there's some amount of debris that you just kind of have to ignore. It's going to be there for a long time. But each time you cut, it's good to get one of the little scrapers and just scrape up the residue and get most of that off of there. You can use a baby wipe. Some people will use a baby wipe and wipe it down, and that helps. But I find the scraper gets the majority of it up. It is a little bit like a self-healing mat, so it's going to have some grooves that it's going to get, especially if you're cutting the same thing over and over and over again in the same place. So it is something that does kind of wear out after a ton of use. When they look really bad, that's when you sort of let it go and get a new one. And they are on sale at Michael's. Watch for the sales when it says consumables and accessories. They do go on sale, so keep your eye out for that.
Hey, Joy, there's another question. Could you, by chance, switch to your camera and show the scraper? We have attendees that are curious to see what it looks like. Great.
Can you see that okay? Here, I'll put it. And it comes in different colors and different sizes. So it's got like a little flat side here and a thicker side over here. So it, and this is the short one. There's also a longer one. But this is the one that I tend to use the most.
So you guys will find that specific small tool in what we call the Cricut Basic tool set. Michael's has this in 2 different colors as well. So like Joy was saying, each scraper has a different color based on how it's packaged with different items. Then we also have the larger scraper along with a spatula that is exactly what it sounds like a little mini pancake spatula. And that sells along with the larger scraper that Joy just showed you as well. So there's lots of different configurations. Michael's carries everything on michaels.com, so you can go and surf around michaels.com and see what you can find and look for the great sales that they have. And you should be able to get all the tools that you need.
Yep. Okay, we good, Catherine?
Yes, great. Thank you.
Good questions, you guys. Thank you so much. And I keep looking over here because I'm using a second screen, so this is how I can see where my next slide is. All right, so transfer tape is another really important thing that you need as you're getting ready to cut your designs. And I've gone ahead, I like to work, if my design is going to be smaller, I like to go ahead and cut my vinyl to about the size of the project that I'm going to be making. And then I will cut some transfer tape to go along with that. And the reason you need the transfer tape is because this is a design that I've already cut and I've already weeded it. So got all the junk out, and it has transfer tape on top, and it's just a clear tape so that I'm going to be able to move this design from the backer paper onto the surface that I want to put it on. So let's say I want to put it onto this mug. I would be able to move it over to here and burnish it down and apply that to the mug. So
Hey, Joy,
yes.
can you, so we can see that a little bit bigger, is there any chance you could stop sharing your screen real quick, just so we can see your beautiful face and the mug and vinyl cut out?
Right? Is that better? So there's the Be Kind that I've already cut. And I would actually use this burnishing tool. We're going to show you all of this. You burnish it down really, really well. And then it actually might come up better with the other one. Because I might not have burnished that one really well yet. Sorry, everything's stuck to the table. But this one has transfer tape on it already. And the transfer tape is going to allow you to pick that design up off that backer paper. See how it's coming up? So that I can then transfer that onto whatever my design is. So if I want to put that onto the mug, I can position that to go there. And we'll show you in a few minutes a better view of how that works and what it means. But transfer tape is super important, and you're going to be using this guy a lot when you're using your transfer tape. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Joy, I've got another question for you. Do you need to use any type of sealer over the vinyl on plastic cups, like Mod Podge or anything, so it won't peel up?
No, thank goodness, because I used to have to do all those crafts with Mod Podge and everything on top. No, you just apply it. And I want to show you an example. So when I moved here to Utah, my sister made this for me. And this is just the vinyl on top. And it's on a swell bottle. And I have had it for years and nothing has come up. I mean, you can feel the texture of it, but it doesn't come up. It can go in the dishwasher. It's all good to go.
Are there different strengths of transfer tape that you maybe should use for different types of vinyl?
Yes, that's a good question. So there is regular transfer tape, and then there's strong grip transfer tape. And you do want to pay attention to what you're using, because let's say your vinyl has glitter in it or shimmer in it, and a little bit of texture. You want that stronger tape to get that gription, to hold those two together so that you can lift the design up off the backer paper, like this one. So I can lift it off and then be able to apply it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and people are really interested to know, can you put it in the dishwasher with the vinyl on it?
You can, as long as it is the permanent.
Awesome.
The removable, no. The permanent, yes. And it stays for several, wash after wash. It's good. Any other questions? All right. So I'll go back to sharing. We're gonna test my skills here. I think I want to share this one. Is that right? Do you guys see the right screen? Okay.
I do.
So that's our little transfer tape spiel. You just got the whole thing. And then we have our last slide, which is the weeding, which we kind of went over a little bit. Jenny was talking about the tools that you can use. And if you look closely at this picture, you can see how you're actually picking up a piece of that vinyl that you don't want. So yeah.
It kind of looks like a dental tool. It's not really to pick your teeth with. It's really just to dig in there for those teeny tiny areas of vinyl. This is just a little sharp point. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, there you can you see that? It really just will get in there and get those teeny tiny little pieces of vinyl or heat transfer vinyl or paper or whatever it is that you're trying to weed out of your design. Yep.
We've got a dentist on, and he definitely agrees. Looks like a dental tool.
Just don't use it on your teeth.
Right.
That would not be a good thing. All right. So now we're gonna test Joy's Zoom skills a little bit more here, and I am going to share. Gotta find my mouse. All right, I want to share the design space section with you. Now, do you see a Be Kind bee and like a whole bunch of other stuff, or just the Be Kind bee? Or the other report?
We see the Be Kind bee on the design space canvas area.
Okay, perfect. That's what I want you to see. All right, so this is design space. So if you come in here, this is where the software is going to help you. So you might say to yourself, how the heck am I going to get all this to work? It's not hard at all. I thought it was going to be really hard, but it's very easy. There are two different ways to access information. Your canvas is basically the space that you're working within. And over on the side are all the places where you can get designs. So let's just say I want to pick a single image. I clicked on the image icon and I can search. So I have already in this particular search a free this week search. And then I can scroll down and I can see all of the free content. We've got a lot for card making in here because people are sending a lot of cards right now. We have our face mask projects because we're all making face masks. But we also have some things that are just sort of inspirational to what's going on in the world. These colorful heart things, pieces of art people are making and putting in their windows to share some happiness with their friends and their neighbors. We have just all kinds of ideas in here. There are tons of them. And if you keep scrolling down here, you're bound to find something that's going to make you really happy that you would like to use. Now, if you have, I want to show you, there's some funny ones in here for, here's some funny ones I think are funny. Considering our quarantine and things that we can't find right now, I think this one is hilarious. Who knew I would really be needing to find rolls of toilet paper? But these are all appropriate to what we're all living through right now. And you'll see that in this free content area. So that's kind of fun. So let's say I really think I am a social distancing champ. I am really good at it. I can click that. I can insert that image, and that will just come up right into my canvas. Now, if that's the only thing that I want to cut, I don't want to cut this heart over here, and I don't want to cut this Be Kind over here, then I come to the side of my canvas, and you see that how it has little eyeballs all down the sides? If I click on the eyeball, the heart will go away. And I knew that was the heart because it says Heart of Hobbies, and it has all these different pieces in it. If I...
Hey, Joy, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. We've got a quick question. If you use something off of Design Space, does it become yours to keep?
Well, I mean, in the sense that you're making something, that thing that you've made is yours to keep, but the art itself is still owned by, it's not like you bought the art. Does that make sense? So if somebody's asking about an angel policy, and can they use a piece of this art and make things over and over again and sell them? That's generally the question that people are usually getting at with that kind of a area. There's you just need to call our customer service and check and make sure it's okay first before you do.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So here, let's say I don't want to cut the yellow thing. I can just make that go away. oh, and it has extra piece to it, so I'm going to make that go away. And then I just have the be kind. Now I could also decide that I want to write a little text and put my name or anything. This is all free if you're doing your name. And right now it's in Cricut Sans, but let's say I want to choose another font. I can come right up, if I highlight my space, I can come right up here to this toolbar and click on it, and it will show me tons and tons of different fonts that I could choose from. So I like to come down here to the Cricut ones and pick something from Cricut. If you have special fonts that are in here on your computer, they will show up in here. The fonts can sometimes be single layer and double layer, and sometimes they're only a draw font. So you do kind of have to pay attention. Like this particular one is a multi-layer cutting, which means it will have some, like a front and then like maybe a shadow to it, as opposed to a single layer cut.
Joy, here's a really great question. For the colored images on Design Space, what type of materials does that transfer onto? Or is the color based on the material that you're cutting?
Let me make sure I understand the question right and then answer it correctly. So on the colored ones, let's say it's the heart one with all the colors in it, that is all different colors, because when you go to cut that, it's going to separate the different color items to different mats, so that you would put in a mat that has red on it, and then you would put in a mat that has yellow on it, and then you would put in a mat that has orange on it. So you could cut all the different colors, and then you would assemble that piece back together again.
Okay, great. So the colors are representing the materials that you're cutting.
Yes. Now, if you say, hey now, I am not that creative and I don't have that much, those different colors of stuff in my house, you can make it all one color. Like this one, it might be hard to see. I made it all cream, and it's already all got transfer tape on top, but I made it all in cream so that it's one color. So I don't have to reassemble and everything.
Thank you.
So just to interrupt, Joy, the benefit of having all those great colors appear on your Design Space screen is, one, so you can sort each shape or each image or each font into the color material that you would like it to cut from. So for example, if you wanted all of your hearts in any given project to be red, then you could use the red color block at the top of the screen there. On the top left of Joy's screen, you can see where it says, there's actually a cross there right now, but there's actually a color block, and you can choose that color and sort. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And that just helps you to better visualize what it is that you're looking at on your screen. But then the material itself will dictate what color it is in the end. So each mat will cut according to the color that you tell it to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny.
It helps Cricut, the machine part. Okay, so because I've got our Be Kind set up, and it's already in the size that I want, and my material is on the mat correctly, we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna see how fancy I can get and share. I'm gonna stop sharing this, and then I'm going to share a different screen that has another camera. And that should show you overhead of all the stuff that's right next to me. So I've kind of been making a mess of it as we go along, but I have my vinyl already on my standard grit mat. And now this, remember, this is gonna have a little cover. Somebody asked the question about how do you keep, how do you clean the mat? I always think, how do you keep it clean to start with? Because I have a cat, and his hair goes everywhere. So I like to keep the cover someplace nearby, so as soon as I'm done cutting, I can put the cover right back on again. All right, and while we are doing this, I am going to also go to Design Space. Sorry guys, I've got to find it. Where did it go?
Joy, while you're looking for that, oh, sorry, Jenny, go
Oh,
ahead.
that's good. I was just gonna say, when you go to Design Space, Joy, to show the cut that we're getting ready to do, could you show them how to size the image? There's a couple questions about that.
Yep.
Great
Okay.
question.
So back over here to Design Space. If I want to adjust this size, I can, well, there's a couple different places I can look. So let's first get here. Size is up under this section up here. And if I want to adjust the size of this, I can play with it right here like this. And it's locked. So it's going to keep the scale the same. So I can play with it this way, or I could choose to come up into this space and adjust it. So I know that I want this one to be at 4. Now, the reason that's important is because if you have an item and you know you only want it to be a certain size, that's really important for knowing, like, how big should I make this thing? And then I also will take it and kind of stick it in the corner and say, all right, it's going to be a little over 4 inches wide, but how deep is it going to be? Because it might tell me this over, sorry, I'm pointing. Like, you guys can see where I'm pointing. I might be able to read this, but whether visually that translates for me or not, a whole different ballgame. If I look at it over here, then I can see, oh, that's 2 inches. Oh, okay, that's going to be about 2 inches and 4 inches. And that helps me decide, yes, that's going to fit. Does that help with that question?
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much, Joy.
Okay, so I have the Be Kind in here, and I am ready to make this project. All my other things that are on my palette are tucked away and you can't see them. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the Make It. And I wonder if this is gonna work while I'm sharing. Oh no, what if it doesn't work while I'm sharing? Okay, let me switch over. So basically what's gonna happen, oh, I want you to see this part though.
Don't you love technical difficulties when you're live?
I'm having a moment. Go back out. Let me just figure out what my moment is.
So while Joy is figuring that out, so there was a couple questions I saw pop up that I thought were really great questions. And now, of course, my chat has disappeared. After Joy hits Make It, it will take her then to what she needs to do to connect to her machine that's going to cut the image. It's going to ask her about the material that she's wanting to cut, where there's categories for that. And then it's going to make sure that she knows which blade that she's using inside the machine. So if you have an Air 2 machine or you're looking into an Air 2 machine, there are 3 blades that are most commonly used. That's a fine point, a standard, and a deep cut blade. What's great is Design Space will tell you which one you need based on the material that you chose from the drop-down menu. Once you get to that same spot, after you click Make It, there's an option to the bottom left that says Mirror. If you flip the mirror switch, it will flip the image the opposite direction. So for example, if you were doing a design on a window and you wanted to put the design on the inside of the window but reflect the correct direction on the outside, you could click the mirror button and it will cut the image backwards, so when you apply it to the window, it will be the right direction. You use this a lot during when we use our iron-on, our Cricut iron-on vinyl. You use that mirror option a lot, but you can also use it in this case as well, just to flip your image.
Yep. Thank you, Jenny.
Another quick note, we're seeing a lot of questions come in about if this presentation in a whole is going to be recorded. Don't worry, guys, we are recording this in case you have to take a call or you missed a couple notes. This will be available in a few days. It takes us a couple days to get it online, but please don't worry, just enjoy it, but this will be available to everybody.
Okay, so we're back here to Design Space, and my Make It is working. So I'm going to hit Make It, and just like Jenny said, you're going to see that mirror button. If I'm working on iron-on, I would click that mirror button so that it would flip everything to work with iron-on. But This is vinyl. So we're just going to hit continue. And it's going to ask me which device. If you, I like to use the AirPlay on the machines, but there is a cord that comes with the machines, so that if you want to hardwire your machine, you can hardwire your machine.
And also, Joy has several machines that she has connected to at any given time. You know, she works for Cricut, so I know some of you have more than one also, or more than two, which is great. But that's why in her drop-down menu for Bluetooth, you'll see a couple options. Typically, yours would just provide you with that one option, so it wouldn't be as confusing as showing you 6 different machines that you could cover.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so now something that I've done with my machine is I've set the dial to custom. I leave my dial on custom because I forget to change the dial. I am not good at remembering to go back to my machine, and I'll show you this when we change our screenshot again. But I leave it on custom, and when it's on custom, it will give me the question right in here about what material am I cutting. So I'm just going to hit browse all materials, and I know these are all the different materials that Cricut makes. I know I want to go to vinyl, so I'm going to go down here, alphabetical order, and it's a premium vinyl that I'm working with. Now, if I work with this a lot, it makes sense to go ahead and click that star, because then it'll always pop up into that top list of items. So I'm clicking the star now. I'm going to hit done.
Joy?
Yes.
Does premium vinyl mean permanent vinyl? So if you don't see permanent, should you assume it's permanent?
Yes. Yes. Unless it's like a special texture, any of those, that's really what you're looking for. The premium and the removable, I just use the premium vinyl size. But something that I like to do is I like to add a little more pressure. That's just what I do. So then, so now I'm all ready to go. So we're going to flip our presentation one more time over to the machine so that you can see what's happening over there, because the light will be blinking. Go ahead and load my project. So you can see that my light is blinking right here. And this is the dial that I'm talking about. And I like to leave it on that custom. Some people will actually cut out in vinyl right here, and they'll say, don't forget to check your settings, which I think is genius, but I have not done that. And this is the mint airtail. So I'm just gonna put that in. And now once the material is ready, you can see the button blinking. So I just hit cut. And I'm using the standard grip mat with permanent vinyl. And I'm cutting the that little bee saying that we have right here.
Joy, while this is cutting, I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Heather would like to know, say you misspelled a text, can you bring back the text box to edit the text itself and not just the appearance?
You mean in Design Space as you're designing?
Yes.
Yes. As soon as you click on that text, that little text box that you typed into will come up, and you can edit, make everything right. It won't affect your font or any of the other choices that you've made.
Okay, great. Another question, I see the power button has kind of a blue light behind it. Does that mean that you're connected to Bluetooth?
No, it doesn't have, and that's a good question. It doesn't have anything to do with the, with Bluetooth or not. It just has a different glow.
Okay.
All right, so it has already cut my piece out because my little button here is blinking. So I'm gonna go ahead and push that the rest of the way out. And then this is a trick that Jenny likes to talk about. Somebody showed her this once. You could take your material and start to try to lift it from here and then lift your material off your mat. But it really is better to turn your mat over and peel back this way.
Okay, so this, everyone may laugh, but this was a game changer for me because I was trying to peel paper off of my light grip mat, and I was really forceful and impatient, and so I would yank the paper and it would tear. So actually it was Greg who told me, Jenny, these mats are like industrial strength. Don't bend your material, bend your mat. And you'll find it to be so much easier when you apply any material that you're trying to release from your mat, depending on the strength of the adhesive that's on the mat, whether it's the strong grip, the standard, or the light. All of them work the same way based on the material. So you can just bend your mat over and not bend your material, and your material will actually start to peel itself off the mat, which is so much easier.
Here's another really great question from Mariah. If you put too much pressure when you're setting the cut pressure, is it going to ruin your mat?
Ruin is an interesting question. So I put that extra pressure on here, and it cuts into this a little bit. I think that the time that you might ruin a mat is if you have a deep point blade on and you put like all the pressure and it's the wrong type of mat. Let's say you were using a light grip and you had a deep point and with total pressure. Yeah, then you're gonna crunch up your mat, and your project might not cut out that well either. So you might have two problems there.
Awesome, thank you, Joy.
So now I'm using my weeding tool to kind of pick at the side a little bit to get the vinyl off the backer. So it has its backer, and then you have the vinyl. Now I want the Be Kind to stay on the backer paper. So I am going to very carefully start to lift this. I've got to scooch over and get myself in the right spot. It starts with this itty bitty little dot. So I'm going to try and use my tools without getting my face or my head in the way of this.
You're doing great, Joy.
You can see it?
Yep, looks awesome.
Tell me if you can't see. Okay, and wiggling from side to side is good instead of just pulling back aggressively. Sometimes you just have to hold down a letter to keep things in place. Like the eye might have almost lost.
So while you're weeding, another great question has come through. What type of blade comes standard with the Air 2 machine? And is that the best blade to use for cutting vinyl?
So it comes with the fine point blade. And yeah, I think that's a good one. I wouldn't change that. Okay. So far, so good. So now we've got to just get, am I still on the, now we've just got to get in here and get these little goobers out. And I just stick it on the back of my hand.
Oh, Joy, quick question. What is that really cute mat that you have under what you're weeding right now?
Oh, this is a Cricut self-healing mat that it's just a 12 by 12 one. I think it's one of the decorative ones. Oh no, it's just got the light blue and then a dark gray on the other side. But
so it's really just to use for crafting. It's not one that you would put in your machine.
Correct. It is a it is a self-healing mat. So if I wanted to use a rotary cutter and cut fabrics, or use a knife and a true control knife, a ruler and a true control knife, I would want to use this tool, this mat. And I always have these everywhere because then it keeps me from wrecking my tables.
As a matter of fact, I just bought a couple to put on my kiddos' new desks in their room. So when they put their laptop and their pencils and their sharp, like different tools that they're using for their projects, they can't damage the top of their desk. So they come in great use, and they come in a couple different colors. We have some designer mats that are a little more pretty. They have floral designs on the back. This one is our standard 12 by 12. It's not the designer. And then we also have some larger ones as well. It comes in different sizes, and you can also find those on michaels.com.
Yeah, that one has the darker side. I just like the light blue side, I think. Okay, So now I would take my transfer tape. I think I have a piece already cut and ready to go. Take your transfer tape and apply it over. I think for time's sake, we might want to just go ahead and get the other one ready. Oh, and Eugene's hairs are on there. Okay, so you put that on, and then using that helpful tool, squeegee that down, right? Now, I know that I have been doing this one for a while, so I think he's all ready to go. So the next step is to take this and lift up my design. Because now I want to position my design onto my cup. I want to make sure I get that last little circle on there. And I have this pink one. I got this one at Walmart the other day. But you can find lots of things at Michael's for your bases. Is that centered? Have I centered, you guys?
It looks good.
Great, Joy.
Go for it. So you just put it right on there. And now you want to use your doohickey, your scraper.
The technical term, doohickey.
Look, you're going to start using the words gription and doohickeys. These are the fancy pants words.
Joy,
Okay.
if the cup you're using has texture, does it still adhere to it as well?
Actually, that is a very good question because this cup does have texture. And I think when they have texture, it sticks even better because that texture has the gription. How cute is that, you guys?
So cute.
Which way do I need to go?
That looks awesome, Joy. Great job.
Now I have my Utah and my Be Kind. So see, you can get your whole little theme going on.
That's great. It's so cute.
All right. Does that leave us with questions? Should I end my mess? I've made a mess over here now.
So one of the questions earlier from Dee was, can you do another meeting on Zoom about transferring to t-shirts? And the answer is yes, absolutely. What a great segue. So we've got a couple more of these online classroom events. So keep your eyes peeled for that. The one that we're planning on doing next week will be specific to the Maker, using the Maker versus what we use the Air 2 today. And we will talk about heat transfer vinyl as a material and how to apply that as well. So stay tuned for that exciting stuff. And if there's any more questions, Catherine, that you want us to run over real quick before we close and let everybody go back to their new norm.
So we have seen a couple questions about transfer tape. Is there any type of alternative, or is it just best to use either the Cricut regular transfer tape or strong grip based on the vinyl you're using?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, we're from Cricut, so we're going to tell you that Cricut transfer tape is going to be the very best material for you to use. But honestly and very candidly, that is the only thing we can guarantee an outcome. So I would tell you to use your basic transfer tape for your lighter materials and your strong transfer tape for your thicker, heavy duty materials, because that way we can help you make sure that your project is going to turn out correctly. And it's definitely the very best material for you to use.
Agreed.
Thanks, Jenny.
Sure. These are really good questions. I'm like writing some of them down because I think I'm like, ooh, that's a great question. I hadn't thought about that.
Here's another good question. If I'm only making cards, which machine should I get?
I know my favorite, Joy. I don't want to speak for you though.
I'm going to ask a follow-up before I give a recommendation. Do you like to make scrapbook kind of cards, or do you like simple, easy, fast?
So if they like simple, easy, fast, what would you say?
If it's simple, easy, fast, Cricut Joy, no doubt. She's the cute little one who you don't even have to use any glue. It cuts everything out for you. No nothing. You have an insert card, you cut your design, you put your insert design in, and everything is pretty. It comes with cards and envelopes and everything that you need. There's also deluxe paper in that particular line. So let me grab it.
And then if you are a card making extraordinaire and you enjoy embellishing your cards with all of the beautiful embellishments you see when you walk down the aisles at Michael's, you can actually use the Air 2 for a variety of different sizes of card making. So both machines are equally awesome. It just depends on what is your goal. If you're looking for something very fast, very simple, very much like I'm a crazy mom, I work 90 million hours a week, I have no time, and I forgot that it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Oh wait, that's for me. They're just kidding. So, it's, you want to make that card really, really quickly for the teacher that you want to say, thank you so much for helping me raise my child. That happens to me all the time. So that Cricut Joy machine that sits on my countertop, that's totally portable, that has the card making mat and all the materials I need, I can whip that card out in about 3 to 5 minutes flat and send my son out the door to give it to the teacher that I totally forgot about. But if you're someone like Joy, who's extremely talented and very creative, I see her using the Air 2 and embellishing her cards, customizing them, layering them. And I think that the Air 2 is probably a little bit more versatile for that type of card making.
So if you like to do fancier cards, like some of these, I think the Air 2, but again, you can do it on the, there's still so much. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Okay, I have another really great question for you before we wrap everything up. What other must-have supplies should I buy with my Cricut machine?
I would say, it's funny, once you get the tool, because the tool's the key, right? And you get the right mats and the right blades, and you have the basic, I think the basic variety tool set is great. Then it comes down to your materials. And it's really, that's where I spend the most money, in all the different materials to use, depending on, do I want something glittery, or do I want something more matte finished? Am I making something for my nephew or for my niece? Who am I making for? Then the materials really start setting the projects apart. So I would say
Joy. Okay, so everyone has asked such incredible questions, and thank you so much, Jenny and Joy, for this incredible tutorial. We are so excited to have you both back next week. I think people are super excited to see what you have in store. I definitely see some questions. People are already ready to sign up. Do not worry, everyone. We will be getting that sign up posted on our site and in emails as soon as humanly possible, so keep your eyes peeled. And like I said, we will be sharing this tutorial out in just a couple of days once we're able to get it up and running. And again, thank you, Jenny and Joy from Cricut. Y'all have been wonderful. And thanks everyone for the great questions. Again, I'm Catherine from Michaels. And if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to all of us on social media, our customer care center. We want to make sure that we are getting you all the answers you need to get you started on your Cricut.
thanks, everybody.
Nice to meet you guys. Keep crafting. Have fun.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Safe.